Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, December 11th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol RGTI, monster move today. Did this one in yesterday's video, talked about that red line right there as a key area of resistance. And you can see opening 30 minutes, price came up there, broke through it, and then just an absolutely fantastic move. So if you did watch yesterday's video and you played that breakout, congratulations to you. I'm sure you're having a very nice day. So I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of those lines as they've served their purpose for now. And we'll need to start afresh here with a new pattern that is formed. And let's just map out this pattern here. So first part of the pattern is this area of resistance right there. And then we have the bottom part of the pattern right there. Let me change that to green to represent support. And then to make it easier to see, let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big move up right there, and this would be a bull flag pattern. Now let me be very clear, just because something's a bullish pattern does not guarantee that for sure the price is going to go up. But is it reasonable? Is it a plausible thought that if the price comes up here and breaks out through that pattern, that break could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely, that is a more than plausible scenario. So if you like this price range, if you like bull flags, keep an eye on it. Next one, ticker symbol ICCT, and this one had a very, very impressive 30-minute period right there. But then it's pulled back a little bit, and this is where things get a little tricky because it's all about perspective. So from a presentation standpoint, like I said, it becomes a little bit of a challenge because if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 3 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart's looking very, very rough. Now, if you do care about the bigger picture point of view, yes, there was a bigger pullback today, but from the overarching standpoint, the price is still up above the main moving averages, those being that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, and pink line being the 200-period moving average. So like I said, is this a good or bad looking chart? It's all about the point of view of what your strategy was. Now, if you're not even in it yet and you like to play pullbacks, interesting area that you could get a realistic bounce, at least in my opinion, right down here around the 21-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. And then if you're somebody that likes to play breakouts, then you could get yourself a trend line right here. And look for any sort of attempted turnaround. So if the price were to come up here and break up through there, again, no guarantees, but valid to think that a break of some sort of resistance trend line like that could create additional buying pressure. So if you're into penny stocks and you like penny stocks with a whole lot of volume, that one or this one certainly fit the bill today. Next one, CMRX, very nice pattern here. So I'm going to go through this a little quicker because I want to respect your time as much as possible. And you've already heard me talk about the one pattern. So there we have our resistance. There we have our support. Again, let me change that to green. And maybe you're already seeing take shape what I'm going to talk about. So that's why I'm going through this quicker. You've already heard me say it, but resistance, support, big upwards move right there. We have ourselves another bull flag pattern right down in the same price range around the $5 mark. So if you're into bull flag patterns, you definitely have a couple choices now. Next one, SOUN, and while this area of resistance is still a problem point, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it because now we have, I think, a more so relevant pattern that way more people are going to be paying attention to. So let's just get this pattern in play. There is the resistance portion of the pattern. Let me actually squeeze this down so you can, because this is a multi-day pattern here that I'm drawing. And then here we have our area of support, and then just there we go. Just to illustrate things again, let's keep it one color. So it's not quite a bull flag pattern, but we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big upwards move right there. If you golfers out there make a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, the other ones I've looked at were just single day patterns, but this is a multi-day pattern made up of the past several days. So if you like bull pennants, you like multi-day patterns, here you go. Next one, NVDA, and yeah, very, very rough move on this one, especially after such a strong start. So strong start and then just got brutalized the rest of the day. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level up there. And first key update that comes into play is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted bounce back in the near term, that'll be the first question mark in the sense of, is the price going to be able to fight through that level of resistance? So 135.50 will be a key level to watch closely. In terms of areas of support, let's change that to green here. Main area to watch if this thing continues on down is going to be right down there at the 132 mark, which you can see right here. Last time the price got down there, the buyers stepped up, definitely in a very strong way, and then produced a very nice bounce. Does that mean, and I wish I could say trading was this easy, but just because that big bounce happened last time does not mean if the price goes on there, it'll for sure happen again. But is it reasonable to think that the price could bounce from that area? Absolutely, but that's always why risk management matters, because there's no guarantee. So I'm not saying it will for sure bounce. I'm just saying there's some logic behind the thought process that it could bounce. But overall, no doubt about it, rough day today here for NVIDIA. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here in a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage area you can use. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free webinar. Next one here, ticker symbol CPIX, and very interesting scenario here as things started off very strong up there and then really started to come down pretty violently. And then that's where things always become a question of, was this just a gap and trap? Is this some sort of pump and dump? And then got the answer, and the answer is, well, seemingly no, because the price at least started to go sideways. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy, but just because the price comes down and then goes sideways does not mean that for sure guaranteed the pullback is over and that for sure guaranteed this price is going to head back upwards. Again, it goes back to plausibility. Is it at least plausible? Is it reasonable to think that maybe this pullback is over and maybe this thing is going to want to curl back upwards? That is certainly a more than reasonable scenario. But again, no guarantee, so make sure you manage that risk. But if you are somebody that likes these scenarios where you get the big move up, then you get a bit of a pullback, and then it starts to consolidate, and you get to throw out the question, okay, is this a healthy consolidation? Is the pullback over? Then this one certainly fits all that criteria. Next one here, TSLA, very nice move today. Again, this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video, but if you did, talked about that level as a resistance, but price came up here, broke through it this morning, and then got very nice follow through. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that level and talk about the newest area of resistance. And this is one that I think would be very highly watched because it's not difficult at all to draw that trend line right there. So you can see by connecting that dot or that point and that point, did a beautiful job of forecasting all those areas of resistance. So that's not to say that the price can never break above that area, but that is to say that if the price does go back up there, you could very well see it act as resistance. And then on the flip side of things, in terms of supports, we have that area right there. So let me change that as support. And this would be a rising wedge pattern, which is actually bearish. Now, as I mentioned earlier, just because there's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure the price is going to go up. Same is true here. Just because it's a bearish pattern does not mean the price is going to go down. However, this does suggest that Tesla may need a bit more of a pullback here. So keep an eye on that dynamic. But again, not a guaranteed one. So just calm down. I'm not saying, and a pullback is not the same as a crash or anything like that. But what I am suggesting is that according to the chart with a rising wedge pattern, it suggests a bit of a pullback may here be needed. So if you do like rising wedge patterns, then definitely keep an eye on it moving forward. Next one here, ticker symbol WBA. One that you want to think of, covering much because it's one of these, one that's been around forever, not always the most exciting one, but news came out today and you can tell exactly when the news came out and what the news was. Well, not really relevant. It's more so what did the market think about the news? And we can tell here that the market really did indeed like that news, which has now created a pattern. So going into tomorrow, we'll see if this pattern has any sort of muster behind it. But we have the pullback part of the pattern right there. And then we have, the resistance part of the pattern. And then we have the bottom part of the pattern right there. So yeah, hopefully you know what I'm going to talk about next. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big explosion right there. So we do have the bull flag pattern. So moving forward, really just a question of, is there going to be any sort of further movement, further momentum where the price can get a break to the upside? We'll see what happens. But if you like bull flags that have formed on news that you got to think is going to cause that many more people to watch it on Wednesday, we'll see what happens. Next one here, QBTS, and we have ourselves another nice multi-day pattern here. So let's get things mapped out here. So we have basically the top part of the pattern right there. Going to try to find a little middle distance there. And then as far as the area of support, while this flat area of resistance has been occurring, you also have essentially a nice upwards trend line here that has formed. So you have a bigger picture. Let me just zoom this out. And just because I can't help myself and want to make sure everybody can see the pattern. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big move up right there, we have the golf hole down here. We have ourselves another multi-day bull pennant pattern. So if you like price range down around $5, you like multi-day patterns, here you go, QBTS. Next one here, ticker symbol SMCI, and this one, very rough day. Again, not because the entire price was the entire chart was destroyed or anything like that, but in the near-term sense, technically speaking, the price had been doing a good job of staying up above that trend line right there for the past several days. But you can see this morning, price came down there, broke through that level, which created some downside pressure. Now, the price did bounce a little bit, but nonetheless, that was a key level that was broken. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of both these levels because, yes, you could consider that area or that trend line a resistance. But in order to keep this as simple as possible, I would now just say keep an eye on that purple line right there, the 50-period moving average. Same general idea, price broke down below it. So at this point, you would expect to act as resistance, and it's actually already done that once right there. So any sort of a bigger bounce back to the upside, purple line there will be that first key question mark in the sense of can the price push back above there from a resistance standpoint. In terms of levels of support in the near term, the level to keep an eye on right here at $38.75. But if the price cannot hold above there, then I would definitely say a way more important level. I'm not going to say do or die, but certainly an important level is going to be that pink line right there, the 200-period moving average. But I also don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because, to be fair, the price hasn't even really come that close to testing $38.75. But nonetheless, those would be the next couple areas of support if the price does pull back that much more. I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a moment, but for you stock traders out there, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, how it can and should be used, then definitely go get signed up for the free webinar. It'll be a couple days from now, Thursday, December 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. And then also, if you enjoy these top 10 videos and you're looking for a super easy and free way to show some support, please just hit that subscribe button. It really does help out a lot. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I am now on the 4-hour time frame. So instead of each one of these candlesticks representing 30 minutes, each one represents 4 hours. And that's because Bitcoin is open 24/7. And I want this video to remain relevant for as long as possible. So in order to accomplish that by looking at longer time frames and then walking you through some questions, like I said, it'll allow this analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible. So the good news here, since the last update I did about 24 hours ago, is a lot of these lower shadows have shown up. Those suggesting that whenever the bears have tried to make progress, the bulls have stepped up every single time. So while that does not guarantee anything moving forward, it does suggest that, you know what, maybe there is a bigger bounce that's getting ready to take place. So that'll be question number one to ask yourself. And let's just say you're watching this video 15 hours after I upload it, is where's the price at relative to that red line? Any answer at all that the price is above here, that is a good thing. Well, how good of a thing? Let common sense take over. The further up above that red line there is, the better it is, because that would just imply the stronger any sort of bounce that has occurred is currently, in terms of underway. So yeah, right here, that's good. Way up here, that would be that much better. Now, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, no, the price is still down below the red line there. Next immediate question, where's the price at relative to 92,500? If somehow you're answering the question, the price is down below there, not the end of the world, but that would start to be a warning sign that, okay, maybe the bulls have started to lose their grip on things a bit more and that more downside pressure is going to be needed. Or if you're saying, well, Clay, the price is up above here, but it is down below there. At that point, one word to summarize that, and that would just be consolidation as it continues to chop around in this former area right here. So keep your eye on those levels, walk yourself through those questions, and that'll keep this analysis relevant until I'm back to update it again. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely get signed up for this free class because what you'll learn about can and certainly should be used within the world of trading. So like I said, it'll be a couple of days from now, Thursday, December 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I hope to see you there. And once again, if you enjoy the top 10, if you enjoy me doing Bitcoin and you want to show some support to the channel, please just hit that subscribe button. So thanks for watching and go get signed up for the free class.